I just take you back to simpler times. Makes me feel so nostalgic. We know Pat Boone is a legendary crooner who gave America wholesome pop hits back in the 50s and 60s, such as the one you just heard, Love Letters in the Sand. He sold more than 45 million records in his career, had 38 top 40 hits, and appeared in more than 12 Hollywood films. Boone's music is as American as apple pie. So it shouldn't be that much of a surprise to find out that the legendary entertainer is also a great patriot. And he's teaming up with another one of our favorite artists, Brad Skistimas of the Five Times August, on a new song they just recorded this week. The song will be featured in the cartoon series called Star Spangled Adventures on littlepatriots.com. The series, created by top Hollywood talent, is set to teach kids about our country's history and values. It's a part of a homeschool curriculum made by Ben Carson's organization, American Cornerstone Institute, in which Boone already voiced Abraham Lincoln in a previous episode.
Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we're engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war.
And Brad Skistimas of Five Times August joins us now. I just love this project, Brad. I was excited to learn about it. I hadn't heard about it because I have a 7-year-old and I have a 3-year-old, and my 7-year-old is obsessed with the founding fathers right now. So I'm excited about the project, but I also just love Pat Boone. I mean, I listen to his show on 50s radio on Sirius. It's one of my go-tos. I just love the guy, and I know it had to be amazing to work with the legendary Pat Boone, because a lot of people do know he was a great entertainer, but some might not realize he's also a preacher and a strong family man. He loves America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this guy's a living legend and a true American patriot. It was just a pleasure to be in the room with him, to be singing with him, for him to be singing a song that I wrote. These are things that I never even dreamed of happening, but there I was in the room, and he couldn't have been more of a pleasure to be around. He's a true professional. I mean, he did so many takes of the song that we wrote for the episode. I was like, I think we got it. And he was like, I want to do one more. He had more energy in that room than the rest of us. And it was so great to see and so inspiring to be around. But yeah, I'm really excited for this episode. He'll actually be voicing Daniel Boone, because we wanted to get Pat back on the show, because he's actually a descendant of Daniel Boone. So who better to voice Daniel Boone than Pat Boone?
No kidding. That's really amazing. And this series, it's geared towards teaching our history. It teaches children about the founding fathers, and this is going to be a great tool. I mean, I'm not a homeschool mom, and I'm going to introduce my children to it, but particularly for homeschool mothers looking for good educational content to provide to their children. I mean, more and more of my friends around where I am are becoming homeschool moms because they want to teach their kids about the values, the founding values of our country.
Yeah, homeschooling has boomed, especially in the last 4 years since the beginning of, COVID and distance learning. I think I woke up a lot of parents to, the potential of what's right here in our home, taking control of the education that we give our kids. I'm one of those parents. My wife and I are homeschool parents, and yeah, it's a beautiful thing to have these kind of resources. I mean, this show has been put together over the last couple of years by some really talented individuals, written and animated by guys from Disney with all sorts of family entertainment background. It's a true, really professional show. It looks great. We have 20 episodes up right now already at littlepatriotslearning.com. There's worksheets that you can download and a whole curriculum that goes along with the videos. So it's great, not just for homeschoolers, but also just, public school teachers looking for additional resources to put into their classrooms. So it's a very exciting, and we're getting ready to start season 2 now as well. So, we've had a great cast, a lot of guest stars. We've had Alveda King, Martin Luther King's niece was on an episode for our Underground Railroad episode. Kevin Sorbo did the voice of George Washington, and of course now we have Pat Boone doing Abraham Lincoln and Daniel Boone. So it's really great.
This is just so cool. And I talked to you a little bit in the break. It just coincidentally came about today that we had Old Glory Bank at the top of the show with John Rich, who is a co-founder with Ben Carson. And then I was doing the research to produce our segment, and I saw this is one of Ben Carson's endeavors as well. I had no idea the secretary had been so busy.
He is knocking it out of the park, just, laying a lot of great foundations for our future right now. LittlePatriotsLearning.com is created by American Cornerstone Institute, which has been Carson's organization. And so, it's just really great to see him doing so much. I've met him once before and got a nice Christmas card from him for my involvement in the show, which was really nice, But
it's cool.
It's great to know that he's, we have some great patriots out there and working to put these things out there for our next generation coming up.
I love it. I had the pleasure of interviewing and sitting down with Secretary Carson multiple times during the Trump administration. He's just the nicest guy, honestly, like the nicest guy you'll ever meet. So it's good to hear he's making all these moves behind the scene. We're going to have to get him on to talk about this because we want people to know how they can make an impact like this, which he's obviously doing. He and Candy, his wife, wonderful people. It's good to see you, Brad. I'll also remind our viewers they can go and see your music, which we feature so much on this show, 5timesaugust.com. Be sure to check in with Brad regularly to see what they're up to. And since you're here today, I always like to, take us out to your song. This one is my favorite one, probably, Ain't No Rock and Roll. Thanks for coming on, Brad.
Thanks so much.
Because there